Pam, thanks for joining us. And so far, the kids that you've seen since this distance learning has started, what are you seeing?
Well, we're definitely seeing a lot more anxiety. We're seeing depression. We're seeing kids who don't want to get online, who don't want to do their schoolwork, who are having a hard time getting up in the morning, kids who are losing interest in school in general. They don't want to do it. They're melting down. They're having a hard time. A huge range of behaviors, but the kids who are struggling the most, that's what we're seeing.
How does your caseload compare to this time last year?
This time last year, the majority of the kids that I saw them in my office here. And once the shutdown started, of course, we had to switch over to an online format, to a teletherapy platform. And so I've spent the last 6 months actually in trying to engage with kids online, and it isn't easy. It's exhausting actually working hard to project yourself online to a child that you would normally touch or help. So a lot of kids are having a hard time doing the online teletherapy, but more than that, so the kids I was already seeing, they're struggling more because of that. But then there are other kids who are coming in, new clients. It's so hard for them to connect with a therapist, with a teacher, with anybody online. They're just not accustomed to connecting with human beings in this way.
And what percentage of the children do you see, break this down for us, what percentage have anxiety about the virus versus having anxiety about the distance learning?
So over time, I would say all the children that I have seen have struggled with both. They've struggled with both. But now we're really not seeing kids struggling to the same degree with the virus. They're kind of forgetting about it because they're so wrapped up in school and how hard this is, and it's been so long, and this isn't what they expect school to be. So more than anything right now, we see kids just struggling with school.
And when you look at their struggles, is it the lack of socialization? Is it the structure? Is it the lack of in-person teaching? Or is it a combination of those three?
So it is a combination of all of them, but primarily it is the socialization. And I've talked a lot with my clients about that. Like, what's the hardest part? What are you really struggling with? What's happening for you? And they miss their friends. They miss seeing their teachers in person. And even if they see their friends online, they can't really talk with them. Like, they see them there, they're in a box. They can't engage with them. They can't say hello. They're not talking. And then a lot of the social learning aspect of school is just gone. Like, teacher says, get out your pencil, and you miss it. And then all of a sudden you look and you see everybody's getting out their pencil. You get out your pencil, you save the day. So that's gone from learning completely now. That's really hard.
Yeah. What should parents be doing right now if their child is struggling?
So if your child is struggling, they're not wanting to get on school, they're melting down, they're not wanting to get up in the morning, anything that's other than engaged, really you should talk to the teacher first, see what you can do, see what's changing, see how you can help. Make sure that that the teacher's experience is the same, that they believe your child is struggling. Because maybe they're not in some classes, but if they are, it is okay to go back and talk with your child and say, hey, what's going on? I'm here for you. It's okay. Parents need to be calm. They need to be self-regulated. They need to be tuned into their kids. They need to ask questions. They need to say, how can I help you? I'm here for you. How can we get through this? We're going to get through this. You're a smart kid. We're going to survive this. And kids will respond to that because honestly, what helps kids learn is safety, feeling safe not feeling defensive, not feeling like you're failing, not feeling embarrassed every time you don't have the right answer and all the kids are laughing at your silly answer or how you couldn't unmute your mic properly. Kids are struggling with so much there socially. Like, it's very hard. Their anxiety is up, and kids feel like they're face to face and everybody's looking at them. So helping your child feel like that's not happening, that they're not face to face, if they have to mute their mic, if they have to darken their screen, if they have to point their screen at the ceiling in order to survive that class, that's okay. That's okay. And if the teacher isn't happy with it, as a parent, you can intervene and say, this is what's going to keep my child in your class. This is what's going to make it possible for them to participate. And that's okay. And I think most teachers are open to that idea and willing to allow that to take place.
Is there a point where parents need to be reaching out to a professional counselor for their children?
Absolutely. If your child is not participating in school at all, like they won't get up or they won't do it, or they're running off or screaming no or having a meltdown, snapping the lid of their computer shut, that's probably a pretty good indication that you're going to need more support than what you can get from a teacher. And that's a great opportunity if your child already has an IEP to ask for an update meeting, because the accommodations that your child has might not be enough, or they might not cover this sort of learning, because let's face it, nobody's IEP covered this sort of learning before. And if that isn't going to do it, if those kinds of changes aren't adequate, definitely reaching out to a therapist who can talk with your child and help them learn skills for managing their anxiety that can help you as a parent relax yourself, practice your own calming skills so that you can be present with your child and help your child through a difficult situation. Because, like I said, safety is everything. When a child feels safe, that child can learn. If that child feels defensive, they can't even access the part of their brain that learns and solves problems and reasons through any sort of a challenge. So, and that's how we get kids to master any challenge, is safety. The bigger the challenge, the more nurture, consistency we have to wrap around it.
We've heard of thousands of children who have dropped out. We don't know the circumstances of each child, but do you fear that we're going to lose children in this, that they'll fall behind, that the problems will cascade from there?
So my answer to that is yes and no. So yes, I am so worried about it, especially for high school kids who are overwhelmed. They don't have the support that they need. They don't have the routine. They don't have the structure. They don't have the parental support. They might have already been behind. They might not have good Wi-Fi. They might have so many other things going on. I'm definitely worried for those kids that we're going to lose them, or that if we haven't lost them already, because I know there are a lot. But as far as younger kids go, I think that with younger kids, the answer is no. I think that as a community, we need to come together and become pandemic proof. We really do. We need to teach our kids how to be pandemic proof. We need to become adaptable. We need to say, hey, we can get through this. What does it take? What do we need to do? And, if you don't have the parenting skills for it, those can be learned. If your child doesn't have coping skills, those can be learned. And kids can survive, and kids are very adaptable.
We've heard from parents who say that they're feeling overwhelmed as well. What would your advice be for them?
So if you believe that you need extra help as a parent to get an IEP or update an IEP, and the school counselor or the teachers aren't helping to facilitate that, I encourage parents all the time to reach out to Nevada PEP, I've got their phone number I can give you. It is 702 388 8899. So a 3, 4, 8, and 2 9s. And they will help you. They will walk you through that process and help you make sure that your child has what your child needs. But also, it's okay to see your own therapist. It's okay. There's no shame in getting help. There's no shame in turning off the computer. There's no shame in shortening the amount of time your child spends, in any one class that is challenging for them. It's okay to just take charge and be okay with seeking help. And maybe one day you just wake up and say, today we're just going to bake cookies and go for a walk and, learn about nature. It's okay to do that. It's not failure. You can't fail if you are just present with your child. Really, all that kids need, John, is they need one adult, one grown-up who is attuned to them, who's consistent, who is calm, who is loving, who cares, who asks them questions. And those children, they'll succeed. And parents, they'll feel like they've succeeded as a parent if they can just do that. But yeah, absolutely, it is okay to get help. And we need to promote that in our community, that it's okay to get help.
Well, Pam, thanks so much for sharing your insights with us. And I'm sure we're going to want to circle around with you as we go through this and face perhaps other challenges going forward.
I would love to talk with you again. Thanks so much for the opportunity, and best wishes to every parent out there.